Omni matter ergo logos inanna inanna naki aika. Omni matter ergo logos inanna inanna naki aika. Omni matter ergo logos inanna naki aika. I am Inanna. In that prayer, the Latin phrase omni matter ergo logos means all matter is the mother. This is her wisdom, and it tells the spiritual world that you know that wisdom, that you are awake to the fact that all matter, from the rocks to the trees to the animals to you and me, our physical vessels, that all is matter, and all matter is ultimately empowered by the mother's soul, Sophia. And just a little backstory on me so that you understand where I am personally coming from. It's really windy here. Hopefully, you can hear me well. The sun is shining, so I thought that I would sit out here and hopefully give you a glance of Mount Shasta. Hi, Chris. How's it going? Eric, Aaron, thank you all for being here. It's beautifully windy day. Okay. Anyways, let me tell you for a second some backstory on me. I was born and raised in a Christian family, mainstream Christianity, if you will, going to church every Sunday. My dad actually went to Oral Roberts University, so he trained in preaching, essentially. My mom is and was still is anyways, it was and is still in the nursing profession. Anyways, going to a Christian church, going to a Christian school. And when I woke up to Flat Earth in 2015, I was at a point in my life where I said, I need to believe all of these things because I choose to believe them, because I have come to these conclusions on my own, not just because I'm repeating what I was told as a child. That's a really, that faith is very flimsy, right? You're not really standing on solid ground if you're just repeating what somebody else told you. But if you have, studied these things and research Flat Earth, right? And for a fact it's like a solid ground that you can stand on. It's something that you can, ultimately fight to the death over if, need be. And that is the kind of person that I am. I'm really passionate about my beliefs, and ultimately death is not the end. This physical world is here today, gone tomorrow. Hopefully not fully gone tomorrow. But the cycles will continue on, hopefully. And what you do in this life matters. If you choose to be courageous and stand for your beliefs, for the truth, for your rights, or whether you choose to cower away and submit to the system, just to extend your life a little bit longer. And well, even then, not very much so, because if you follow what the powers that be are telling you to do, you're going to suffocate yourself. You're going to continuously inject yourself with the newest, latest drug, if you will, like a junkie, and your lifespan is going to get continuously shorter and shorter. So anyways, coming from this background, finding out Flat Earth truth, starting to really read the Gospels for myself and try to understand the message of the Christ, then ultimately getting into Torah following. And that is around the time that I started to, only eat clean versus unclean meats, whatever, and try to live by these biblical laws that were set in place, because ultimately that's what the Christ did. And if you want to claim to follow the Christ, then you need to do what the Christ actually did. Then I was studying Passover, came to find the teachings of the Essenes. They were against all of the, this is really distracting, all of the blood sacrifices and, shedding innocent blood, the whole concept of being forgiven by going out and killing an innocent. They were against all of this. That is when my eyes were opened to the fact that our actions, obviously it shouldn't have taken this to open your eyes to the fact that your actions have consequences. But when we are doing all of this perpetual evil on the other species of Mother Earth, bad things are going to happen to us, and we are covered in guilty innocent blood covered in guilt from it, and shedding more innocent blood isn't going to make you any less guilty. It's going to make you more guilty. How you become less guilty in the eyes of our Creator is by washing your hands of that innocent blood, by figuring out what you are doing that is evil and stopping doing that. Right? It's as simple as that, but it is extremely hard for people, especially the people that haven't yet questioned their religion. They want to say the Bible is the infallible word of God, because so many pieces of the puzzle of truth fit into the biblical narrative. You know, flat earth. People want to say flat earth truth means the Bible is true, when if you look at all of the different ancient religions, you know, even the Quran talks about flat earth truth. So the people that are already in these religions come across these pieces of truth, and it actually sometimes serves to solidify their indoctrination, their previously held religious beliefs, because, well, it fits into the puzzle piece. And hopefully you are at a point where you are questioning all of that and seeking the truth, even if it doesn't fit into one of these specific man-made religion books that are very popular. So let me check out the live chat really quick and continue on this trail here. Hi, Chris. Aaron says that he can hear me good. Awesome. Sea Breezy said, hey, Queen of Truth, how's it going? Hopefully this wind settles down. Okay. Eric says, sounds just like the action of repentance to do away with the worldly ways and return to the way of the Creator. Absolutely. And obviously I do, you know, in the golden age, promote being raw vegan, being fruitarian, being pure in your diet. But for those people who want to eat cooked vegan food, like, I want to make sure that those options are available for them. You don't have to be raw vegan if you don't want to. So it's not like a strict, you know, you have to do exactly as the Creator intended in that manner, as long as the innocent are being protected. And even further than that, using technology to serve humans. I was just talking in the live chat about having, you know, advanced technology, being able to do the everyday tasks that people don't want to do, doing your laundry and the dishes and any other cleaning and all of that kind of stuff that people don't want to do. Having technology to be able to do that and take over all of the tedious jobs that humans are doing now, so that humans are actually free to, you know, do whatever they want to do. Your soul didn't come here to do dishes. Your soul didn't come here to make your bed. Like, yeah, these things, you know, they can be a part of your life, but it's not what your soul actually came here to do. And I definitely you know, try to urge people to find out what their soul came here to do and then actually do it. So let us get into the topic for today. I was talking about on a meme that I put out, and obviously the thumbnail of this video, talking about the original form of the soul. Recently, I was trying to seek clarification and answers, trying to learn more about the truth of our reality, and, you know, ask and you shall receive when it comes to, I guess, what people call channeling. You know, when you try to think of something and a thought just comes into your mind and you've never really, like, it kind of came out of nowhere. These are some of the things that are associated with channeling. But, you know, ask and you shall receive. All of the answers that you are seeking, ultimately, we've been through this before. We've been through the awakening process before. So the answers we already know. Our soul already knows, but our soul, we've not only been disconnected from our soul, right? The fluoride that seeks to cut us off from our true self, and all of the other programming in the media, everything that they do to try to keep us asleep and disconnected from our true selves, disconnected from the spiritual world. We're fighting against all of these forces, and, you know, this wind is ridiculous. Okay. Anyways, So I was recently asking when, for me, source is a point in time. It's not an actual entity. So at one point in time, there was this source point in time where everything was one, and then from that, many souls came, and there's no going back to that. All of us souls would have to agree to go out of, existence to get back to that source point in time. But the Gnostic texts are also something that I have studied, and unfortunately they take a anti-creator stance in regards to their teachings. They call Yah an abomination, and they say that this physical world is evil. They paint it in a dark light, but for the most part they do have some really great other teachings when you can sift through the trash and find the truth that has been buried in all of it. So ultimately, this is ridiculous. I would I take a pro-creation stance. I am pro this world, pro our creator. Our creator, created this Garden of Eden paradise that we can, manifest our own reality. We are on a daily basis either manifesting a hell for humanity or a heaven for humanity. And for all of the truthers out there that know this, how can you expect for us to live in a paradise when your daily decisions are based on your actions have consequences of innocence being enslaved, being abused, being stolen from, being chopped up into little pieces for you to have a meal, a piece of cheese, a cheeseburger? What do you think is going to come from those actions that you are partaking in on a daily basis? Obviously, this is something that I get very fired up about because I'm really passionate about stopping the innocent abuse. And people want to try to say that veganism is the new world order diet, and I've talked about this before. To say that veganism is the new world order diet is very short-sighted. The powers that be have been promoting eating animals for thousands of years, and they're obviously going to try to control both sides of the awakening and, give us vegan, idols in the media that ultimately come out and say that they lost brain cells from doing veganism or something really ridiculous like Miley Cyrus, and make veganism look like it is being fueled by the Satanists, when in reality, when you know where you are, it should be really easy to know what you should eat, especially if you want to follow the Bible. Genesis 1, it does say flat earth, and then you continue reading, and it tells you that you should be eating raw herb and fruit-bearing seed. So, if you want to go with the biblical narrative, then why aren't you consuming what God told you to eat in the Bible? Ridiculous. Hopefully you can see Mt Shasta in the background just a little bit. That was the whole point of sitting here. So back to the topic at hand. From source one came many, and I was, curious about what the original form of the soul is. And what came to me was that there are two primary groups that kind of argue over what the original form of the soul was, whether it was like a worm or a snake or a Nachash, or on the other hand, a dragon. And we're seeing a lot more dragon programming coming out, especially in children's movies, but also, what is it? The Game of Thrones has dragons. I'm not really sure because I've never watched it before, but a lot of dragon truth in plain sight information coming out. And so I was kind of thinking trying to understand more of this debate between the Nachash and the dragons. And what kind of came to me over time was that when the soul originally starts, it's more like a worm. And I kind of, what came to me after this was the whole thought of, a human, the sperm going into an egg, being the same kind of picturesque type, as above, so below, as within, so without, as the universe, so the soul. The sperm going into the egg, and eventually, creating a human in the same way as a soul starting out as this worm, this sperm type entity, eventually becomes something different, right? And those that argue, some of them say that the ideal form of the soul, once it's fully developed, is going to be in the form of a dragon. So, obviously, well, I won't say obviously because I can't assume that you guys know me, but I think that dragons are really awesome. I've talked about, having lived in previous lives before and being in dragon form. It's something that I don't see as being evil because, if you want to see it as evil, it's kind of from a limited human perspective. Humans are only the most recent of Yah's creation. We've been, playing this game that we call life, not to say game as in it's a joke, but it is something that our souls do to keep us entertained. The things that we do here matter, though. So if you're taking corrupt actions in this physical world, your soul is becoming more corrupt as well, more dark. And on the flip side, if you are doing things that purify your soul or purify your human body, right, your soul is also going to be purified through that as well. And that is always what I'm constantly preaching, purification. And whether you are on, the baby steps where you're just now cutting out meat and you're still consuming, animal byproducts, whether you're actually a vegan now, great job, and you're moving towards, trying more raw vegan recipes and doing more fasting and all that stuff, you're starting to purify your soul as you purify your body. And I'm proud of you for taking actions to purify, because ultimately it does matter what you do. And so when I say that this is a game, I don't mean to put it lightly. But anyways, we've gone through this, many times before, and humans are just the most recent of Yah's creation. So, before humans were center stage, there were other species, reptilians, which include a dragon. There were Nachash, which are snakes, different types of Nachash. There were the Jinn, who are beings of smokeless fire that can shapeshift, that can take on different forms. So a soul can, have gone through this game before and been in different bodies, and that also plays into the shape of your soul. I was trying to, think of more information regarding the shape of the soul, and what came to me was the whole idea of, if you wanted to take on certain qualities of a different species, your soul would need to go into the game as that species, and then because your soul went into that container, into that physical matter, you held that form for a lifetime or whatever, then your soul could then take on that form in the other, in the spiritual world, right? Kind of makes sense. Hello to everybody in the live chat that I haven't got to. I'm kind of trying to stick on the subject right now and get to you some of these pieces of the puzzle. As you can see, this wind is terrible. But I'm thankful that the sun is shining, and I'm thankful that you are here today with me to learn about all of this stuff. So, anyways, the soul over time then would, starting off as this worm-like, sperm-like creature at the beginning, And obviously moving forward, right? Time is a linear, I guess I should, move. I'm not sure which way I'm showing you on your screen, but, a point in time. And from that, we have been moving forward, and you can't go back in time. Time travel is not real. In order to actually, time travel, you'd have to have the mother, all physical matter, be transformed like back into time to be that world that she was then, right? She is also changing over time, and obviously with the powers that be in charge, they are making it a negative change, right? They not only do the weather modification to make this, drought and famine or floods, which cause famine, right? All of these chaotic things, mud floods, whatever they're causing to wreak havoc on humanity. But spraying over time, is going to cause problems over time, right? The trees that weren't being sprayed with chemtrails how many years ago, whenever they started spraying chemtrails, right? Obviously are going to be a lot healthier and in a different condition than the trees that we see today that have been affected by years and years and years of poison. And just like our physical bodies, our DNA is seeking to repair itself. The mother, all physical matter, she has the same properties about her. So once we stop spraying her with poisons, once we stop doing things that are hurting her, she's going to start to return back to the paradise that she was meant to be. And that is really, really exciting. The whole concept of having food everywhere, everyone can just walk down the streets of town and find just different fruit trees and endless food so that nobody has to go without. And that is really exciting. And this wind is disturbing. Okay, let's see what's going on in the live chat here. And yes. Aaron says, put some of those stones behind you in your pockets and you won't blow away. Thankfully, I haven't blown away. I'm like chugging this tea. I just finished a 27-hour dry fast. Woo! And came back with some tea. And I'm going to continue to dry fast later tonight. And then obviously tomorrow at 8 a.m., we're going to do a group dry fast for 24 hours. And hopefully you will join me on that. Whether or not you can do 24 hours, it's okay. You have to start somewhere. Intermittent fasting is a great way to start as well. Just before 8 o'clock a.m. PST, chug a bunch of water and then see how long you can go without water. All right. KG Jr. says, what if there is a food shortage? I'm still going to be vegan even if there is a food shortage, if that is what you mean. Obviously, especially now that I know that I can go for 8 days at least without food, just drinking water. I know for sure that I can push myself more than that. I want to do a 2-week dry water fast in this coming winter, but I can go without food for quite some time, and I have food buried in my backyard, multiple containers of food. So when crap hits the fan, I'm not going to stop being vegan just because the world has gone to craziness. Everything that we do is being watched and judged. And, if you are in a starving situation and you're going to, prolong your life for a few days by taking the life of another animal, in a few days, you're still going to be in that position. And yeah, now you have the blood of that animal on your hands. So, yes. Exactly, Eric. That's why we fast, so we can endure the shortages. Exactly. And it definitely empowers you to go through the fasting and to know that you can push yourself, not resort to cannibalism. Aaron says Miley Cyrus has brain damage long before he became a fake vegan. Absolutely. Yes. KG says if there's a shortage, fasting is not helping. What are you talking about? That is helping because, the little food that somebody has, if they only have a small amount of food stored up, then, they can make it last for for a significant amount of time, longer than they would if they were eating 3 meals a day and not fasting at all. So we all need food. Man does not live by bread alone. I assure you, I'm in extended fasting groups, people going for months at a time, a month at a time without food and just consuming water. So it can definitely be done. And it is extremely impressive when you find humans that are willing to go without. Like anyone who knows that we are in we're being watched, we're on the world stage, we're being watched by these spiritual entities. They see humanity, and for the most part, humans are a joke species, and there is nothing to write home about. So when they come across humans that are dry fasting, that are water fasting, that are actually doing impressive things, it makes you stand even farther above the rest. And for me, that's something that I want. I don't want to blend in. I don't want to be considered normal. I don't want to fit in with the crowd. I was born to stand out and lead humanity into a golden age. So here we are. Okay. Eric says, learn to garden and grow food. Absolutely. Aaron says, I started that this year, growing my own food. I hope to grow indoors soon after some renovations here in a greenhouse next summer if we get that far. That is awesome. Also, I wanted to send out some prayers, some good energy, some love and vibes for Aaron, whose mom is going to have surgery tomorrow. So please pray for her protection and pray for all of that to go well and a speedy recovery. If you guys have anything else that needs to be prayed about, let me know, and I will use my platform to get other people who are willing to send out good vibes, and all of that comes back to you as well. If you want, if you want good things in your life, put out good things. If you want good energy coming your way, put out good energy. Very basic concepts. So yeah, it is unfortunate. I will mention, so many people, the majority of humans are just going along with what doctors say, and it's understandable, right? From a young age, we are programmed to listen to our teachers, to, your mom takes you to the doctor and just does whatever the doctor says. Don't question authority, and we are fighting against these things and trying to wake up our loved ones, trying to get them to see the truth of our reality. And this is another thing that came up in conversation with a friend. By the way, I love having deep conversations, about philosophical topics. The truth of our reality. I don't prefer to go and learn from other people. I prefer to have the conversation and kind of, channel on these things myself. So if you guys are into that, I definitely look forward to getting back on Facebook and trying to have these conversations in a public forum so that other people can learn and see as well. But what I was saying, the truth of our reality, the truth is such a big contrast to what they've been investing in their whole lives, what they learned as a child, the people that, went into professions like the medical field or science and have invested so much of their time and energy studying these things and basing their own opinion of themselves on these lies, right? They think that they're evolved slime that came into existence by chance, on this giant spinning ball that came into existence by chance, and that, when they die, death is the end. So, maybe in their opinion, becoming this lead scientist or doctor or whatever they're doing is their way to get above everybody else. And in reality, we're in a joke world. So everything that they're being taught, the things that they're being, whether it's, science as in whether we live on a giant spinning ball or our stationary earth, or the medical field, and in that doctors are being trained by big pharma to to continuously practice medical malpractice. Medical malpractice is their standard practice, and they're so invested in this. They're so wrapped with their own view of themselves to take the pill or to wake up, whatever, to get red pilled, whatever the heck, whatever. I don't really usually go over these matrix terms, but it's like to wake up to the reality is so against everything that they've invested in. It's like they will never wake up no matter how much you try to awaken them. They're so invested in it. And obviously even the, our own families, going to the doctor and going along with the jabs, going along with the mask mandates and all of this stuff, it's extremely hard to know the truth and to try to wake them up and to have them, not listen and go along with the programming and do all this stuff. Just know that when you are facing that, you're not alone. There are so many of us that are in the same position. And, although we can't force them to be awake, we can, especially for our family, you never want to give up on your family. Keep trying to plant those seeds and tell them, the best way to heal yourself is a natural way. The doctors, they're just trained to put a Band-Aid on things, instead of fixing the actual core of the issue, to either prescribe a pill, to cut you open, to remove body parts, to put things into your body, anything but actually saying, okay, well, the main reason that you are having this disease, this cancer, is because you are eating junk every day. You're not only just eating junk, once a day would be bad enough, but what, three meals a day and then 3 snacks a day? It's like you are constantly overloading your body with junk. And, honey, milk, and eggs. You might want to think that you're doing better by being a vegetarian, but if you're doubling down on these things, they all contain growth factors that are going to fuel weight gain and cancer. Okay, so the things that you are doing is causing the problem that you're in, and doctors aren't going to tell you that. They're just going to prescribe you pills, which are ultimately, here's a medicine for your reoccurring headaches. Let's not talk about the underlying issue that's going to continue to kill you, right? The pill is just not only, going to just dull the headache, but it's also probably going to cause really problematic side effects in the long run if you're taking it on a daily basis and all of this stuff. But the problem that was still there in the first place is still going to continue on, even though you're not feeling the headaches anymore. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, we can't force people to understand this, to accept it as truth. And also it's much easier for them, I guess what just kind of came to my mind is kind of easier to go to somebody else and have them prescribe you a pill and trust that they're doing it rather than taking responsibility into your own hands. And especially it's much easier to pop a pill or take a stab, blood clot shot than to look at your daily actions and actually change them, right? Especially I'm talking about dry fasting. People are like, what? Dry fasting, is there any other option that I can take that doesn't, make me feel like I'm being tortured? And well, it depends. If you have a goal in mind and if you want to get there, obviously you can get there at different speeds, and dry fasting is like the sprinting manner to get there, and like raw veganism, and that would be pretty much if you truly want to be healed from a disease, you're going to want to eat as much fruits and veg raw as you can. So yes. Aaron says you look great, Inanna, healthy. Thank you. Like I was saying, I am just coming off a 27-hour dry fast, and actually I'm feeling way better than, every time it keeps getting easier, so that's really encouraging for me. So yes, hopefully you guys are also pushing yourselves. KG Jr. says Jesus was a fisherman. I followed the teachings of the Essene Christ, and he was not a fisherman. the Christ in the Bible does, consume flesh and all that stuff. But personally, if I'm going to follow the teachings of somebody, it's going to be somebody that challenges me to be the best version of myself. And sorry, but the Christ in the Bible doesn't cut it. Feeding people fish, that is, not only are you corrupting your own temple by putting it into your body, but you're corrupting other people. And I don't believe that the Christ did that. I believe that the biblical Christ is a corruption of the original Essene Christ, who was a hardcore vegan. He basically said, if your hands are bloody, if your mouth is defiled with flesh, then you can't be righteous. You can't know and teach the mysteries of the kingdom. You can't be the best version of yourself possible. So that is what I know and teach. And yes. KG Jr. says 1 in 3 people will get cancer. Vegans aren't an exception. Vegans can eat unhealthily. That's not the point. Obviously, you can be an unhealthy vegan and eat all of the meat substitutes and all of the processed stuff, or you can actually be a vegan that consumes the proper diet and be eating a raw fruit and vegetable diet, which is a lot easier said than done. The difference is, though, between a vegan and a non-vegan is that a vegan is doing what is morally right by not hurting the innocents, not forcing their way of life on others, like so many animal eaters want to say, don't force your way of life on me because I'm typing words on a computer. Meanwhile, they're out literally forcing cows to be enclosed in spaces, forcing them to be raped, forcing their children to be separated from them, hooking them up to machines so that they can suck on their tit secretions. And you want to say that I'm forcing my way of life on you? No, not yet. If I could, I would force my way of life on you, just like I would if I saw somebody kicking a dog. I'm not just going to sit by and walk by and say, don't, nothing to see here. I'm going to go say, hey, what is your problem? Why are you hurting that animal? Were you hurt as a child? Did your parents do this to you? Is that why you are hurting other animals? The whole concept of little kids going out and killing the neighborhood cat, and then we associate that with them being psychopaths and serial killers later in life. But nobody wants to talk about daddy taking little Junior out to go and sit in the woods and wait for an innocent little deer to run by and shoot it. That's not psychopathic at all, right, guys? Wrong. It is. Okay. David says, by pharmakia, all the merchants of the world deceived. Okay. Aaron earlier said, David said, just like aspirin, it does not take away the headache, only the awareness of the pain, not the cause, which could be the stress, anger, dehydration, etc. Yes. Sorry, kind of wasn't seeing all of these chats here. There was an interesting article on the NazareneWay.com that was talking about how the word food was mistranslated into flesh or fish or meat, purposefully, obviously, to encourage us to consume animal, and also talking about Pisces and the occult symbology in all of that. Pills are pharmakia, cure one thing, side effects cause or create other problems. I call it modern day sorcery. Yes. And anybody who grew up with a TV has seen the commercials, even they're showing them on Facebook, right? Of, people being injured by things that were FDA approved. And it's only a matter of time, before they're saying, were you hurt by COVID-19 jabs, right? They keep going on about this spike protein and essentially, the mRNA jab turning your body into a spike protein manufacturer. Like your body is literally producing this spike protein. And as I said before, it is the spike protein from HIV. So the worst part of it, I've talked a little bit before about it being, I don't want my cup to spill over. It being created to specifically target your ACE2 receptors, basically when it finds it, then it finds this certain protein ACE2 receptor in your body, and then it's stabbed with this spike protein. So your body is constantly dealing with this protein in yourself, stabbing yourself. So it makes sense, with all of the clotting, your body trying to stop this bleeding, this attack from inside. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, in the future coming with all of the patients that are taking part in the depopulation event, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. People kind of want to talk about it being like an experiment. I guess to a certain extent, yes, an experiment to see how many souls are going to fall for it. But they want to talk about there being a placebo, and I haven't had or seen any evidence of that. I think that if you go in and ask them for the shot, you're getting the shot, and it's kind of like Russian roulette. What's gonna happen? Every body, it's a physical and a soul thing, right? So on a physical level, every body, whether you're vegan or not, we're all at different levels of being healthy or not, right? It's not like you're one or the other. Is like a sliding scale where you can be healthier, and the more healthy you are, the more pure your diet is, the better functioning your immune system will be. So the shot isn't going to affect everybody in the same manner, and no shot is like 100% effective 100% of the time. You also have the soul aspect of it, the spiritual aspect, in that ultimately what keeps you alive is your will to live. It's not your, someone can unload their gun on you, and if your soul says, no, I'm not leaving yet, you can continue on. You can be burned at the stake, and have the majority of your skin not there anymore, and still the soul inside, if you say, no, I refuse to leave this physical matter, this body, then the soul is going to ultimately keep you alive through that. And obviously, it'll come into factor if you go into the hospital, because if you start going into the hospital to try to get saved after you got shot or burned or whatever, your chances of surviving are going to go down, because like I was saying earlier, doctors are trained in medical malpractice, and the things that they do. One of the things, for instance, if you have a fever, your body is naturally, the temperature is rising to kill off whatever is hurting you. You'll experience the same thing if you do dry fasting. Your body temperature after a while will actually start to raise. It'll start to burn off the impurities, the toxins that you have been consuming your whole life, in the same manner that a fever does. So when you're sick, the FedEx truck always comes when I'm here. When you're sick, when you're sick, your body raises its temperature to fight off the disease. And when you go to the hospital, even the patients that are going in with this new disease, they're having fevers, and they're getting fever breakers, fever relievers, to bring the fever down, and that's ultimately helping to kill them. It's going against the body's natural system that is put in place to raise your temperature, to kill off what is killing you. So very sad to know that that is what is going on. KG Jr. says it works for one, it doesn't work for all. Well, the thing is, though, that all human bodies are designed by our Creator to function and thrive off of the same diet. Now, whether you want to eat primarily grapes or mangoes, that is a different story, but we are all designed to be fruit raw fruit and herb bearing seed, and that is where every human is going to thrive by consuming that diet, no matter what your preference is. It doesn't matter what your blood type is. Our species has a specific diet, just like other species have specific diets. And when we consume that diet, that is when we are going to thrive. So yes, what does work for one will work for all. But, other people have different, some people's demons have a stronger hold on them. The people that, will go onto a vegan post and just say bacon, their demons are definitely a lot stronger than a person like me who went vegan overnight. It's like, it's a moral option. It's a moral decision. And I have to, no matter what I like to eat, it doesn't matter. My taste buds, my pleasure for one meal is not worth the suffering and the death of another sentient being. And for anyone who wants to stupidly say that, plants are alive too, all physical matter is alive, even rocks, okay? Because all of the physical matter, like I was saying before, is Sophia, the mother. So let's just get that off the table and start comparing things that are actually comparable. You wouldn't react the same way if you went out to your garden and found that a flower had wilted. In the same manner you wouldn't act if you found that your dog's throat was sliced. Okay, so at a very fundamental level, that there is a huge difference between plants and animals, and comparing them just makes somebody look absolutely retarded. So, anyways. So, what do you do every Sunday? I have a YouTube live, so I have people in a chat room and they're asking me questions and I'm answering and talking about various subjects. And look at the beautiful background, right?
Perfect. So, do you have a YouTube channel?
Yes, it's called Queen Inanna Snow.
Oh. Because I always just watch YouTube. That's the only thing I like to watch.
Yeah.
You're standing out here.
I know. It's a sacrifice for the beautiful view. I'm hoping that they can see it.
Well, good luck.
I know, right? From the window, the warmth. Okay. The wind isn't, but the mountain is. We'll have to agree to disagree on that. She said when it's covered in snow, that's when it's beautiful. Well, I mean, I guess it is beautiful, but I would not be complaining one bit if Mount Shasta was a perfect tropical paradise all year round. Like if the coastline was right up real close to Mount Shasta, we turn it into a vegan paradise. We have fresh fruit and vegetables growing everywhere and set all of the cow slaves free, which is at the top priority list for me. So, yes. KG Jr. said you're a free spirit, but are you really though? Because do you pay taxes? Do you have to go to work? The New World Order, even for those that don't pay taxes and don't work, it comes to a point where we're really not that free to move around. And humans ultimately don't deserve to be free if we are hurting the other species and enslaving them. And yeah. Okay. Aaron says that cancer is from improper nutrition and or deficiencies, a breakdown at the cellular level. The tumor should never be cut out. It is a warning to give us time to correct the problem. Yes, the tumor being a collection, like your body is trying to collect all of the poisons that you're putting in and put them into one spot so that it doesn't, kill the rest of your body. But like I was saying before, honey, milk, and eggs all have growth factors and they fuel weight gain and cancer, right? When you're a grown adult, your body doesn't need to be told to grow anymore. You're fully grown. So when you're consuming baby's milk that has growth factors so that that baby cow will turn into a large beast. Those growth factors are still going into your body, telling your mind, telling your system to grow, right? And ultimately, cancer is uncontrolled cell growth. So it's, there's nowhere for you to grow. Well, I guess you can always grow fatter, but eventually, some people get cancer from this. So, yes. All right. Let me check out here. I would love to have a live video conference with all of us. We are the strength and purity of the world, says Eric. That'd be pretty interesting. David says most people die from their treatments of cancer rather than the cancer. They are butchers. Yes, absolutely. They're talking about some natural remedies here for healing, for cancer treatments. That's pretty cool. Obviously, CBD has helped a lot of people with pain. And I definitely encourage natural remedies for this, for any disease that you encounter. And thank you all for sharing in the live chat the remedies that you have looked into. Aaron says the treatments are bogus for sure. Radiation killed my grandfather. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. He even said it. My mother has had both. He even said that. He knew that it killed him. Wow. That's sad. All right. Acidic crap food breaks the body down. Deficiencies cause malnutrition. The body cannot cope after some time. Absolutely. And it makes sense. A machine can only get so clogged with crap, before it starts causing problems. And ultimately, our bodies are a machine, a really intricate, intelligently designed machine. So it's really crazy when you come across people that want to try to think that it is something that evolved over time and happened by chance. But then again, these people were also taught that at a young age. And when a child is a child and they don't know any better, they can be convinced of anything. So it's really important to teach the truth to your children. And that's something that I want to talk about in the future as well. Hello, strangers at Mount Shasta. They already went away, but he's fast. So stop it. Okay. Reading is warm year round. Yes, I was just down in Reading yesterday and the day before. There are two places in specific that I love there. One is fully vegan, 100%, and it's called Life Bowls, and it's in the Mount Shasta Mall. And they have really delicious dragonberry bowls and an amazing vegan cheeseburger. And the other place is called Pizza Twist, and they have the best vegan pizza that I've ever had in my life. I just usually get a regular vegan pepperoni pizza, and now I'm starting to think about that. I'm in the middle of a fast right now, so let's move on from food. I don't pay taxes, but I went to prison, so there's that. Okay. During the golden age, we will not have taxes. Taxation is theft. You'll be able to actually own your land, your car, your property without having the fear of the government taking it from you. And obviously, that is a huge difference between the golden age that I am here to promote and ultimately manifest and socialism, right? In socialism, you have to pay into the government and they can take your stuff whenever they want. And that is definitely not the way of the golden age. In the golden age, people will have a true wealth, be able to I'm not against paper money, but I'm against the paper money not having anything to back it up, right? If it's a golden age, that paper money, it's a lot more convenient than carrying around gold bars and a bunch of coins and all of that stuff. And obviously, having something in your hands, precious metals that don't change over time, they don't lose their value, they can't be taken from you, is obviously better than having something on cryptocurrency or, the chip in your hand to buy or sell. As convenient as they might want to try to promote this, as great as they want to try to promote Bitcoin, it's like it is moving into I don't encourage people to, invest in it unless you're doing, an investment where it's about to spike and you put your money in and you get your money out and then you invest it into precious metals, right? Something that you can actually hold in your hand rather than something that can be taken from you with the pull of a plug on a smart supercomputer, something that can't be deleted off of your account on the computer. So, yeah. They're talking about some frankincense and copaiba. I don't know how to say that. For cats, that's interesting. If I had a cat, it would be vegan and it would be like a lion cat. I am not a fan of house cats myself, but when it comes to lions, that is something that I am like pretty obsessed with. So. Aaron says the military exposed my grandfather to Agent Orange in Gagetown. Wow. That's really sad to hear that. I've heard other, people from the military and stuff talk about how they were experimented on as well. And it's crazy what they can get away with, once you sign yourself over to their care, right? When you sign yourself up for their military, then they can, do whatever they want to you, right? You technically signed up to die for them, as morbid as that is, right? But when you go in there and you sit down and you say, I want to do this, they could put you on the front lines and you could die, right? So they can kind of, I guess, use that as an excuse to experiment on them in a way. Obviously, I encourage everybody to stay out of their possession in any manner, whether it's joining the military or other services, or even going into the hospital and anywhere that they can, enclose you. It's just not a great idea. And anywhere that they could essentially force their, if you were under sedation and going in for a surgery or whatever and you're unconscious, you can't make the decisions. They, in that moment, can make them for you. And, it's not that people on the lower levels are bad or whatever, which, some are. But at the end of the day, they're trained in medical malpractice. So it's like, Crypto is part of the beast system, though. Yes. I agree. Like them moving towards a system where they can control everything. They can give you a credit system so that you have to get all your jabs. You have to keep in line with their way of everything, or else they can just take everything from you. And that is obviously the system that they are moving towards, where humans are completely controlled at every level by these inverts. And the only freedom that you're going to get is from submitting fully to their system. And then you can have the freedom that they allow you to have, the entertainment that they allow you to have, and so forth. So, all right. I'm actually going to cut this short. It is really windy, and hopefully next week it won't be so windy. Hopefully, if you guys have... there's actually one other thing that I wanted to touch on was a question that came from Fabrice here. Let me actually... There's actually a lot I didn't touch on, and I have like a list here of notes and other topics that I wanted to talk about. So I'm going to push them off to next week. One of the things that I wanted to talk about is free will, and is free will evil, and to talk about the allegations from the inverts and the Satanists that they have more fun in this world. So that's something that I want to talk about. And if you have other questions, I would love to get to them. But Fabrice asked, my big question, which I would like to have an answer, is what was the emotion of Yah before creation, and what pushed him to create? So like I was talking earlier about, from source, this point in time, from one came many. So there's all of these souls, hanging out in the ether. This is before this physical world was created. So, these souls are hanging out, and what are they gonna do, right? There's only they're gonna get bored after some time, and unfortunately, there have been souls that were literally bored to death. They were so bored that there's nothing to do, there's no point in existence, that they just said, screw this, I'm out of here, and just stopped existing. Just like your existence in this physical world is by consent, so your soul continues to exist by consent. And yeah, one second, back to my thought. So you have all of these souls just hanging around in the ether. Other religions call the cosmic oceans. The ether, what Tesla talks about, your soul is made up of this. You have all of these souls just hanging around, and there's only so long, like something needs to happen. And what happens, according to the Gnostics, is that Sophia created Yah, and they call Yah an abomination. Ultimately, what was just revealed to me recently in asking these questions was, all the other souls coming into existence as this worm, this snake-like entity, but Yah coming into existence and being shaped more like a potato. And I am not trying to be disrespectful in any way, shape, or form. Like, first of all, I love potatoes, so I'm not gonna nix him for being shaped like a potato. But I want to let you know what has been revealed to me. So basically calling him an abomination because he was created differently, came into existence differently than all of the other souls that came before him. And ultimately, according to the text, he was created for creating this world. So, it's kind of what I think of, when I eventually bring a child into this world, I'm going to teach him from the beginning what his soul is here for. And I, would think that Sophia would have this in mind as well in those beginning stages of Yah coming into existence, and essentially him learning that this is what he's in this creation for. And obviously the first thing that he would want to create or recreate would be himself. The whole concept of a human, the sperm is obviously not what we look like. We don't look like walking sperm. We look like a human. So you can have something starting as something that doesn't exactly reflect the end product, just the same as having a soul start off as like a worm type snake creature, and then the ideal form down the line of being a dragon, right? And even then, there's obviously different representations of dragons and griffins and combinations of different characters, which is something that I kind of get excited about, like griffins, and the idea that your soul could have different qualities and characteristics of beings that represent you, right? That is custom to what you are at a soul level. But anyways, so Yah creating himself and changing his own form from being, a potato, to some other forms where some texts talk about him being like a 7 or 9-headed dragon, right? Which is obviously really cool if you have multiple heads too as a dragon. It's like if someone was coming to battle you, you literally have a head in each direction that can breathe fire. Like, that is really cool. So anyways, Yah recreating himself, becoming what he is, and then turning to ultimately create this world. And I also would like to mention how awesome I find it, the whole concept of this whole soul starting off as a worm and coming into the world and becoming different, and relating that to what we know about the sperm and the egg, and how humans and other creatures, right, other the sperm and the egg is not limited to just human reproduction. So it's really cool to have all of these different puzzle pieces coming together. And if you have other questions about these topics, I definitely would love to hear them. And hopefully, Fabrice, I answered your question about, what was Yah, the emotion of Yah before creation, and what pushed him to create, wanting to create himself, obviously. And I think, I assume he would be really excited to get to not only fulfill what his soul came into existence for, to actually start creating the world, but, to be able to create what all of the souls are. I shouldn't say all of the souls, but a huge majority of souls are really, really focused on what is happening on Earth. Earth is the stage, and souls can either choose to come into this world, or they can choose to watch. And obviously, the ones that are in this world, we're focused on what's happening in this world. But, the watchers are focused on what is happening in this world, not whatever else is going on in the cosmic ocean, in the ether, in the spiritual world. They're focused on us. And that's obviously entities that are in higher vibration and in lower vibration. Entities that want what's best for this world, and entities that want this world to go out of existence and cease to exist. Hopefully that is not you. Hopefully you are here to ultimately fight for the mother, fight for this world, for making this world a better place, which is ultimately going to be the line of the golden age that I have been talking about for years now. Hopefully your soul came in here to fight for that better world. Because, well, the default is the clown new world order, the clown show continuing. And ultimately, the mother doesn't want to continue being the clown show over and over and over again. She will allow the clown show to happen for a while, because ultimately she wants wisdom. But she, at a soul level, what will invigorate her soul and push her to want to continue to exist is us creating a golden age and making this world into a paradise once more, where souls can actually be happy. And I guess I should say where positive souls can be happy, right? Right now, we have a clown show that's run by demonic entities, and they are happy, right? They're happy to go around, inflicting pain on the humans that inflict pain on others, feeding on our negative energy, and doing the evil that they're doing. They're happy to do it, obviously. So let me just say, let's make a world together that positive souls that want what's best for humans and others. Let's make a world that is good for all of us. So hopefully you are on board with that. Tomorrow, Monday, starting at 8 a.m. PST, Mt Shasta time, I will be doing the 24-hour dry fast. I'm still banned from Facebook, so I'll be posting here to my YouTube community. And if you're not following me on Instagram, find me at Queen Inanna Snow. Leave with me any questions that you have, anything that you want to know about our reality, anything you need me to clear up about this topic today. I would love to get to that, so just give me your questions, and I will catch up with you in a little bit. Make sure that if you are doing the 24-hour dry fast tomorrow, what I usually do is get up at 7 and chug water, have a cup of tea, whatever, and make sure that I'm really hydrated before I start the dry fast at 8, and it'll make it a lot easier. And just remember that it does get easier over time. And even if you're just making a baby step in the right direction, be proud of yourself, and, know that you're not alone in this. We are purifying together, and it is what is best for the mind, body, and soul, even if it is, miserable to dry fast sometimes. It makes you want to hate life. Just stick with it, and we will become the best versions of ourselves possible, and then we will create the best version of this world possible. Have a wonderful week. May God and the Goddess bless you.